Welcome back to our Q&A session at the Sugarloaf Animal Hospital. We've actually been overwhelmed by everyone's appreciation and response to our first Q&A. But the first matter to deal with is the prize of the Your Dog and You photo competition was Vanessa, Baxter and Flynn. This first competition, the prize is a $50 voucher at the Sugarloaf Animal Hospital, so we'll get a message to Vanessa and Flynn and let them know that they have won. So keep your eye open for future competitions and stay involved. If you've got any worries beyond the answer that I give, then just give us a yell, call, make an appointment, send us a message. We can answer all these questions in more detail if we need to. So today's first question comes from Danielle, who asks, what are my thoughts on people who dye their dog's hair? And what are my thoughts on people who feed their dogs vegetarian or vegan diets? I think that there are many dogs who actually enjoy the interaction with people in many different ways, and so getting their hair dyed to be made to look more special, there's lots of dogs that would enjoy that. And as long as you spend the appropriate time researching your vegan or vegetarian diet, you can definitely manage to feed a dog properly with those things. Not so with cats. You cannot feed a cat a vegetarian diet. They are obligate carnivores and have animal protein requirements. If someone does feel the need to organise a vegetarian or vegan diet for their animal, they need to organise a consult, and we will go through the stuff with you and we will make sure that you're doing the right thing. Next question. Jay Cooney has some questions about rabbit vaccines. What vaccine should I be getting for my bunnies and how regularly? Also, what should I be doing for worming and flea prevention? I'll tell you what we do here at the Sugarloaf Animal Hospital at the moment. The rabbits need a calicivirus vaccine once every 6 months. They need 2 as little bunnies, and then thereafter they need them every 6 months. Now, many people say to me, that's, you're just making money getting us to vaccinate them more frequently. You can take advantage of our free Vaccines for Life program. Doesn't cost you any more whether they get vaccinated every 6 or 12 months. But the best information we have at the moment is the best coverage is given if they're vaccinated every 6 months. And as far as worming and flea control go, the best and safest product to use in rabbits is selamectin, the active ingredient in Revolution. And if you give us a yell, we can organise that for you. Our next question comes from IpG88. Any tips for a cat that will happily urinate in a litter tray, but for years has refused to poo in the tray and will only do so on the floor next to it? The tip is to try a hooded litter tray. What often happens to these cats is that they feel sore in their back legs or uncomfortable in their back legs, and they position themselves with the back legs against the edge of the litter tray, which of course puts their butt over the edge and they go to the toilet there. So the best thing to do with those cats is set up trays that are bigger than the usual ones, but you can get ones now that are hooded and the cats feel secure in them. Because they feel secure and they can't get over the edge, things tend to stay inside. So Sarah Lynn, 23, asks, what is your favourite bird, Dr. Mark? Well, this is a hard question to answer because I really genuinely love all birds. There's some amazing conures and cockatiels and budgerigars, and just because they're common doesn't mean that they have common personality. And so as far as in the hospital, pretty much the next bird I'm going to see is my favourite. Out in the wild, I do have a couple of favourites, and probably the one that I like to see most is the azure kingfish around the little creeks and streams, and see if I can't get some excellent photos of them. Haven't got the best one yet, but still working at that. Cabbage Tree Palm asks, in your Eclectus Diet blog post, you say that walnuts are commonly contaminated with Aspergillus aflatoxin and should be avoided. And then Cabbage Tree Palm notes, I thought peanuts were high risk of this too. Do you mainly refer to walnuts in shell, or do raw shelled walnuts have the same risk factor? Two things. The first one is that you are right about peanuts. Peanuts also have a reasonably high risk of aflatoxicosis, and mainly I'm talking about shelled walnuts. The raw shelled, they've had the shell taken off them, those ones are much safer. The ones that are still in the shell, they run a high risk of aflatoxicosis. Okay, so Kim asks, my German Shepherd can't seem to keep weight on and his back is really dry and flaky. He has a good quality dry food, and I also give him 2,000 milligrams of fish oil, and it has improved a little, but not as much as I thought. Any ideas on what else I could try? Look, I think in these situations where we have an animal that's not putting weight on, some animals have a high metabolic rate and a lean body mass, and there you can feed them as much as you want, like people. Some animals have that high metabolic rate. But if we're worried, if it's starting to have effects on their body system like their skin, then we should do some workup. Just random, try this food or that food, I think is counterproductive. We need to specifically know if there's something like thyroid disease that can be diagnosed and treated, and that can make a world of difference. Thanks, Kim. Samantha says her guinea pig had baby guinea pigs that were born last week. As is often the case, they didn't realise that the guinea pig mum was pregnant when they got her. And the babies at the moment have legs that are weakened and maybe even a bit deformed. What should they do? This is an important one. What you need to do is supplement the guinea pigs with vitamin C. Vitamin C plays a very important role in the development of connective tissue, and connective tissue holds the bones and legs in place. Guinea pigs are unusual in that they, along with camels, fruit bats and primates, don't produce their own vitamin C. All other species produce their own vitamin C, so they don't need a dietary supplement. So there are commercial flavoured guinea pig tablets. The wonderful Oxbow company make them, and we can organise them for you. So give us a yell and we'll organise the vitamin C. Matt asks me, why do dogs eat their own poop? Domestication is the reason that dogs eat their own poop, because their wild ancestors would consume prey, including the intestinal contents. Now the bacteria that are in the intestine of herbivores provide a large amount of a number of vitamins that aren't available elsewhere. So it's only a small step then for dogs who have a taste for the contents of a rabbit's gut to actually have a go at some of the droppings, and those droppings will contain some vitamins and minerals that they can't get any other way. Now, domestication steals the opportunity for that wild behaviour. There is the opportunity to have a go at stools that are just laying around, and so because they have no aversion to those droppings and the only droppings around are their own, they can at times have a go at them, and sometimes in some dogs that can build up into a really bad habit. And if that's the case, you probably need to have a talk to us. There are things we can do that limit the likelihood dogs will do that. Nat also asks, why do female dogs like making a nest and a bed while they walk around and pad the bed down, and male dogs don't? Well, that probably just has to do with reproductive activity, that females do need to make a nest if they've got a litter, and as I said before, in domestication a lot of those wild behaviours are appropriated and used for different purposes. Or it could just be, like humans, the males are lazy. Sarah asks, are we happy to see pet birds that have beak and feather disease? Yes, Sarah, we really are happy to see them. In fact, more than happy. We have protocols in place in the hospital here to limit the chance of spread from infected birds to uninfected birds, a really important thing. So we have a special room that we use to look at infected birds. We have protocols to clean it down afterwards. And the birds that have beak and feather disease are immunosuppressed, so they really do need special veterinary attention. Sometimes they even have pain issues if their beak becomes damaged. So we are really, really keen to see them, and we're set up to do so. So in closing, I'd just like to say how actually how much this has been a really positive experience. That the additional connection to you people through this medium has been a real plus. We've really enjoyed the questions, and the whole process of seeing things through a different light has been excellent. So if you like this forum, if you like the way that we do this stuff, then do the usual YouTube thing and click the like button and subscribe button, and pay attention, because we're aiming to get one of these videos out with the Q&A or some other interesting topic each Monday. That's our plan. So I look forward to seeing you next Monday. Thanks. Bye.